Good evening, everyone. This is Morbid. With me tonight is Jaded has returned.
Hi.
Pagan will be on later. I'm an idiot, and sorry we're a little bit late. I'm not even close to being as inebriated as I was
Oh, I
last
want to
week.
know what was wrong. What happened?
Well, it helps if I actually click start streaming instead of start recording. So I was actually just recording nothing.
That is fucking awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, sorry for the late start. Um, as I said, my name is Morbid. This is Jaded. This is the official podcast. I guess what live stream podcast live streams. They all
Same
interchangeable
thing.
now. Yeah, the official podcast live stream of DreaminDemon.com, one of the longest running crime sites out there. Aside from Web Sleuths, they've actually they're doing a lot better than we ever did. But remember when we
But
used
they're a
to?
different kind of a crime site.
That is very true. They actually care, or at least they actually
Yeah, that.
seem to care. I guess we would be the crime site for nihilists, or at least people with a very horrible sense of humor.
Well, that, and I don't think we have our armchair detectives, but I don't think we have the population of armchair detectives that Web Sleuth does.
No, 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 no. We definitely, I think at one point, maybe back in the day, for those of you that may have never heard of us, I saw somebody in the YouTube chat said that they had been a fan for a long time. So I'm not over there right at the moment to see it. But thank you for finding us and
Armchair
joining us.
detectives, but I don't think we. What the
Um,
hell was that?
that sorry, I went over to the watch page, and of course it echoed back into my ears. So
Quit playing with shit.
I know. Well, now everything was all set up nice now because I restarted my computer thinking that was something was wrong with OBS, and now I've lost every fucking thing. So I got to start all over again and reopen all these tabs that I had saved to play videos. It was going to be nice and professional-ish, and now it's going to be back to normal.
Yeah, I don't think we should strive for professional anymore. It's not
I don't
happening.
even know why I attempt it. I'm actually just trying to make things a little bit easier for myself. Listen, if you want to join in to the phone call or into the podcast at any time, we are taking calls. We no longer use Skype. I know we used to give out a phone number that you can call in, and I know we also don't have as many as viewers now as we used to. After we moved off of Spreaker, we're kind of starting from the ground up again, and we're confusing some of our older members with the plethora of different ways you can actually listen to the podcast or interact with the podcast, whether that be through YouTube or through our Discord server. The Discord server does have a channel there called Green Room. If you join into that Green Room, we're going to assume that you want to talk to us for one reason or the other. You don't have to mute your mic or anything. We'll bring you in, and we can talk to you that way. If you need a link to our Discord server, I'm actually trying to do 15 things at one time right now, so I was going to post a link in the chat so you could get to it. The only thing I can tell you is just go to our forums off the main page, and the Discord server is in the sidebar. Don't you start fucking yawning.
I told you it's gonna be like that all night. I am fucking tired.
Man,
So deal.
last week I'm actually laying all. I am drinking some different type of whiskey this podcast from last week. I didn't go back and listen to it, but I
I
heard.
never do.
Well, I heard that I went on a few too many rants, and my language that I usually try to reserve for no real reason, then I just try to keep it to a minimum. It was full force, drunken, just profanity laden rants. And out of all our podcasts we've done on YouTube so far, that's the one that got demonetized. So I think it was my mouth. I don't know yet. We'll see after this one.
Are we not supposed to cuss every other fucking word?
I don't know if it really matters. I, I've never really understood YouTube. Only, I mean, for a lot of people who don't know, we've been around for a long time. I think about 14 years now. And we used to be on, or where we still are, of course, but we used to be have an active YouTube channel. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things at the same time. And what we would do is we would host videos there. And what happened is nobody was really using YouTube, at least not to make money. And eventually, after a certain number of years, we started getting copyright strikes because at the time nobody really gave a shit about that stuff, and we didn't either. We were just trying to. There were sometimes videos from news sites that didn't have embed options, so we would put them over on our YouTube channel just so we can embed them in our articles. That was it. I mean, it's not like we were trying to steal business from or anything, and making money off of YouTube wasn't even a thing. I don't even think you could monetize videos back then. But we started getting copyright strikes, and if you got so many, they would just delete your entire channel. So we were just like, fuck it, you know. And so we didn't use it for, man, like over 5 or maybe even 7 years. It just sat there. We've got videos that have millions of views. And we
I was just checking that out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we just never used it. So anyway, because we hate Skype so much, that's the whole reason why we are now moved over to
YouTube.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like
Discord.
I said, I'm doing a
And everything works well when you remember to push all the right buttons.
That is correct. I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, look, trust me, I listen to a bunch of podcasts online, and there are some absolute utter morons that are doing pretty good on YouTube. And that's not the reason why we're over here. I mean, of course, I would be more than happy to take some money, but that's not the main reason why we're over here. We were just trying to make things easier. So.
And so far, it hasn't quite worked out that way, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. It's only our third one. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. The only difference between this and our older podcast, which I need to move over to this channel at some point so I can quit paying Spreaker for no reason. But you had to have something visual. You didn't have to have something visual for people to look at, but you had to have something. You know. And I am not putting myself on camera no time soon, so. Too sheshy for that. Too sheshy for that nonsense. No, I'm actually. I already still get scared to this day. We've had so many hate mails and threats and all kinds of other nonsense from people. I just don't want to make it too easy.
Yeah, let's not invite them over for coffee and shit, you know.
And back then it was just because I was just worried about actual. I mean, I didn't want to make it easy for people to actually start reaching out to me personally. They can hit me on my social media stuff all day long and our email. I could care less. But nowadays, holy shit. I mean, in this particular climate, the mob mentality that can happen online, if you run any type of controversial type of subjects, whether it be mostly politics, but if you run any type of controversial stuff, holy shit, man. I remember when this online mob stuff first showed up. I mean, it may have been before, but I wasn't involved in the circles that would have happened in, but it was back in the Steubenville rape case is when we first started seeing it. And we were like, oh, shit, this is not going to go in a good direction. And it didn't go in a good direction at all. People now losing their jobs and all kinds of things now if you say things people don't agree with. It's a lot different landscape out there than it was, 10, hell, even 5 years ago. So I just like to be a little bit careful at this point in the game. Maybe when I get a little bit older and actually start doing heroin, I won't care as much.
There you go. We all have to have goals.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of mine.
To get old and do heroin. Okay.
That's correct. Well, I mean, that's the perfect time to do it. I just kind of want to see what the big deal is all about. For those of you who've never tuned in before, normally what we do eventually is we will talk about the top stories trending on DreaminDemon.com and kind of just go through them, talk about them a little bit. If anybody's got anything interesting to say, it usually peels off into weird directions. We got some stories today. I actually was able to get some news stories.
You've been busy.
Well, unfortunately, I could not beat the one from last week. The guy that had sex with the puppy. None of my stories this week could top that one. So that ugly motherfucker is still sitting at the top of the most.
I was gonna say maybe it's the mugshot. I mean, that's fantastic.
I think it's the fucking the puppy part.
Oh, well, that too, but I mean, the mugshot is that's a beautiful mugshot. I love it.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started for now. I'm sure Pagan will join eventually because that boy can't be on time to save his life
You
ever.
know, we're all in different time zones here.
The only thing that kills me with Pagan was the fact that he knew we were doing this today, and then he called me. Well, at least he called me during the day. He had forgot that he had to go to some type of a one of those crappy birthday parties where you have to go to one of those Chuck E. Cheese type places.
Ew.
Right.
That's
Well, he called to let me know that he was still there. He's still going to get on, but he said the place didn't even have air conditioning working. So not only is he like in a Chuck E. Cheese type place, it doesn't have air conditioning.
that's disgusting. Because oh my God, all you'll be able to smell in there is sweaty kids and feet.
Yeah, so I'm not going to rag him too bad. He's paying for it anyway. Um, all right. Well, so let's go ahead and let's get into some of these stories here. We'll see which ones we can knock out. What was that?
That was a yawn. Shut up.
Oh, and before we get into these, Fallout 76, right? I know
Yes.
we've already talked a ton about it.
Yes, we have.
Did you read any of the? Have you been keeping up with all the new? And for those who don't know, we are me more than Jaded. I'm an old head video game fanatic from back when my parents first brought home a Pong system, which dates me, but whatever. But Jaded here wasn't a big video game player ever, and used to make fun of me all the time about my about my video game playing until, for whatever reason, I don't remember now, you got into Fallout 4. And
It was 3 first.
whatever one it was, she got into Fallout. And
Yeah.
this girl has turned into a bigger Fallout fanatic than even myself. So it's been an interesting ride watching her absorb her time and efforts into building communities in the wasteland.
That's right.
Of Fallout. So
And
anyway,
killing shit. Now, I knew where you were going to go with that. I have not. Okay, because one thing that I have discovered just recently is some of you gamers are fucking nuts. Okay, that's just all there is to it. Y'all are nuts. If there's a comment section, y'all go full retard. I'm not going to speculate on what's going on with Fallout 76. I'm going to wait for the conference and Bethesda shows Sunday evening, and I will be paying much attention to that just so I know where this is going.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. And I have to apologize. A lot of people already know. I have a mutt. His name is Chico, and he goes fucking bonkers if he hears anything outside. And we have a thunderstorms going on all night tonight. And so the thunder, he's
good.
thinking somebody's either pulling up the driveway or trying to kill me. I'll try to mute him because he's loud as hell. And my kid, who's normally here to mind him while I'm podcasting, is out at one of those, what do you call those new bar arcade things? He's at one of those, so.
Is it called a bar arcade thing, or
Well, one of them's called a bar.
is it a fusion?
Yeah, they have like, they're real popular everywhere now with the kids. They, it's like a bar. And I don't know if they're free or not, but they have like 80s type arcade machines in them.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I keep wanting to go and check one out, but I haven't went yet. And we've got, and now that they've gotten popular, our city's got a few of them now. So him and his girlfriend went to one of those. So anyway, the whole reason I was bringing that up was the fact that my dog is going to be aggravating. So I'll try to mute my mic when I son of a bitch.
That's like the third time I've heard that from the beginning of this podcast.
Well, it's and you can still hear me now.
Yes.
That is so weird. I did something. I was just reaching up to turn the volume up on my mixer. And normally when I talk, I can hear myself in my headphones. And then all of a sudden, that just totally went away. So I thought
Stop touching shit.
I know, right? I thought that I had disconnected something. And I don't know what the fuck just happened. But now I mean, I guess it sounds better because I'm not yelling at my own self in my ears. I think this is the way
You
it was
sound
supposed to be.
you sound better to me, and you're not cutting out nearly as much. I don't know what you did.
I don't either, so I'm not going to touch it again. We'll just leave the volume where it's at. So anyway, before I fuck something up and totally end this podcast, we'll move on to the stories real quick. At least a couple of them.
Right.
We've got one here, and we got a couple from this area. Let me get this pulled up here. This is the mother that was arrested after a 1-month-old baby was found inside of a dryer. It's a recent story. There wasn't a lot of info when I posted this, and I don't know if there's been any more. I had some tabs open so I could play some videos, but they're now all gone after restarting the computer. But this is the 25-year-old Tyra Neal. Her husband came home. I think she has like 5 kids. She's 25 with 5 kids.
Busy.
She's 25 years old. She lives in a mobile home in the middle of nowhere in some type of farming community. You'll see some of this
In
here
Arkansas.
Correct. So
Yeah.
the father, or her, I don't know if it's a husband or boyfriend, but the father of the kids came home and found their 1-month-old baby was dead inside the dryer. Police were called, and they initially arrested both of them, but charges were dropped against the dude. But the charges against Tyra Neal have stuck, and she has been charged with murder and abuse of a corpse. So we're going to play this video here real quick.
No, we're not.
We're just doing ads.
The legendary taste that's been around for 60 years.
A secret friendly recipe.
With a bull on the label. How do you do it? How do you do your dance?
An open field. It's a simple life in this remote part of Poinsett County, usually.
It's a farming community, so you see somebody driving down the road, you wave at them.
Today is the exception. No one is waving as they take on one of life's greatest challenges, the unexplainable loss of a 1-month-old little girl inside this mobile home on Rich Road.
I'm shocked. Like, how could you do that to a baby? That's sad.
2 of the baby's aunts told us off camera it was the girl's father who made the discovery yesterday afternoon when he opened a clothes dryer and found little Casely dead inside. We still don't know how the infant died. The sheriff's office isn't telling us. Family didn't know. We are told, however, her body is going to the state crime lab in Little Rock for an autopsy. Both of the girl's parents were arrested yesterday, but tonight it's only the girl's mother in trouble. 25-year-old Tyra Neal charged with second-degree murder and abuse of a corpse.
What could somebody possibly be thinking that they're like, oh, let me harm my own child? Like, no, it's unimaginable.
Neal's in-laws tell us she has 4 other children. They all lived together at this home until yesterday. A little girl gone, what family remains fractured with a mother in jail? Life here isn't simple anymore. In Poinsett County, Luke Jones, WREG News Channel 3.
So yeah, anyway, is it just me, or did that chick seem like kind of like really happy while she was talking about her neighbor?
I wasn't watching it, but I could hear it, and she didn't sound really sad that there was a baby found in a dryer.
She had a smile on her face through the entire interview.
Well, she just got like 5 minutes of fame.
Oh, that is true too. And out there in the middle of nowhere, that's probably the most excitement they've had in the last
Hell
decade.
yeah!
Aside from last year's tater crop.
Yeah, them tater crops, those are good times. Good times. I went to see, because I know you didn't have a lot of information when you put it up. I was just seeing if there was anything other than just the baby in the dryer, and you don't have that up there, right?
What do you mean?
Somewhat of an update.
Yeah, what's the
Because I was wondering how baby ended up in the dryer, and
right.
Another article says that first of all she tried to blame the 2-year-old for putting the baby in the dryer, and then later on told authorities she may have placed the child in scalding water because the infant had diarrhea, and then became scared and put the child in the dryer.
Well, yeah, I had none of that info. None of that info was available.
Okay.
So
I
man,
didn't think so, because you definitely would have put that up. But that's the only update that I'm seeing on this particular story.
yeah, I should update that with that info. That's pretty good.
That's not how you wash and dry babies.
Well, it is if you don't care if they live through it or not, I guess.
If you don't like them very much, I guess you can do that.
And let's see here. San Francisco, California. We've reported on this hospital before. This is the Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital. It was like 5 years ago. We reported on a woman who had I think she was in for a bladder infection or something, and she disappeared from her room. And she went missing for a couple of weeks until somebody, I don't remember who found her, but they found her. She was still at the hospital, but she was in a stairwell, a locked stairwell, where she died in this stairwell. The hospital ended up getting sued, or if they did, it doesn't mention it, but it's the sheriff's department who runs the security at the hospital. So they got sued and ended up paying that family $3 million for that death. And now here we are 5 years later, and it's happened again. This time it was an elderly woman who suffered from dementia. Her name was Ruby Lee Anderson, and she went missing from across the street at some type of mental health facility. And once again, just like last time, she went missing for a couple of weeks, and she was just found by a staff worker. I guess she was in a stairwell that's part of their power plant at the hospital, and that's where her body was found. And at the time I reported on it, there wasn't much info other than that, and aside from the hospital, of course, scrambling, that all the changes that they had put in place since the last time this happened, and yada, 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 So
Well, you think the stairwells would have been the first place that people check.
if anybody goes missing around that hospital, just check the fucking stairwells.
Right. and wow. Okay. And trapped in a stairwell. That's.
Which is a horrific way to think about dying,
Yeah.
Surrounded by all those people, just a doorway away, and you end up dying of whatever you would die from. I don't know if it'd be dehydration or starvation. Either way, it would suck.
Well, and how far away are these stairwells with doors from people? I mean, is it not attached to the hospital to where anybody might be walking past hearing a knock on the door?
Well, that was the whole thing, and of course I didn't read any of the court documents from the last lawsuit, but that was the big thing, that these stairwells are supposed to be checked, and after that last one, they obviously weren't doing that, or they wouldn't have paid the family $3 million because she was missing for 2 weeks. So here we go again, same damn thing. I think she was missing for about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks or something I can't remember. We're going to play a video here in a second because there is an update, and I think the only update they have currently is that no foul play was expected with the woman. And I think that's as far as they've gotten. But hold on, and we'll play this video here real quick.
I don't know. Those some hungry fucking stairwells.
Well, the thing is how the fuck are they getting in them? And then do they like auto lock or something from the inside? That doesn't make any sense.
That I can kind of see, but why isn't it locked from the outside?
True, very true. But still, the only thing I can think of is, just because I have some knowledge about this, is that, I don't know how she would have got in. How would she have gotten inside the fucking stairwell? I can maybe understand how she couldn't get into the hospital itself because it may have needed some type of a badge reader or identification to let you in, electronic means to let you in, but that wouldn't explain the outside letting her in and then not letting her out. Most of the time you don't have any type of a badge reader to let you out in the fucking parking lot.
And then not to mention the fire hazard that it is to have stairwells that you can't get out of.
All right, hold on. Let's play this, and let's see if they give any more updates. My favorite part of this is, and of course, I'm not glad somebody died, but it's watching the hospital administration scramble with some of their statements. But let's see what this person says.
Changes are already in effect at Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital after the body of a missing woman was found at their property. The hospital, along with law enforcement officials, just held a news conference on the circumstances surrounding the death of Ruby Lee Anderson. Her family says the 76-year-old was suffering from dementia. Her body was discovered in the stairwell of the hospital's power plant building yesterday. We don't know how she ended up in this restricted area. As a result, the hospital says it's now going to require 24/7 security badge access to that building. Now, officials say Anderson was not a hospital patient. The medical examiner is conducting an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Something similar happened 5 years ago. In 2013, Lynn Spalding's body was found in a hospital stairwell 2 weeks after she went missing. Now, she was a hospital patient.
So, yeah.
Meet Chloe.
This 4-month-old female husky.
Sorry. So, yeah, they got a second one. Wow. I just heard myself and it went all robotic. So now they have a second person found in one of their stairwells, but one of the statements here from one of the hospital spokespeople when they brought up the Spalding case, they said, that was a terrible tragedy. We've made many, many changes since that time, and we have no reason to believe that this case and that case are connected, but we don't know very much about this situation yet. Which is...
Apparently he didn't change shit.
Right. You would think that they would have like badge access to all their outside stairwells. That's what I don't get. The hospitals around here, that's exactly what they have is.
Or shit. Okay, barring that, put in a water cooler and a goddamn vending machine or some kind of shit. So at least if you're gonna be stuck in there, you ain't starving to death.
Yeah, you should put like a feeder. A feeder.
Seriously. Those are the changes they should have made the first time. Then this woman would still be alive.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on? Hold on, I'm about to touch something.
Oh God, don't touch anything. Break shit.
Okay, we'll see what that does. I was getting a lot of static, but I think it was my headphones. I really need to upgrade everything. We've done this for long enough. I'm still using some piece of shit headphones, and everything's a piece of crap. Couldn't I write it off as a tax thing? I mean, it's business related.
There you go.
Maybe I'll try that. Let's see here. The next one was the, this is that one from Australia. This is where, and they haven't said if this guy was alive yet or not. But this is the one out of Australia where some guy got in the shitty end of a love triangle, and he ended up being put through a wood chipper. And this happened last year, November. 54-year-old Bruce Saunders was working with two men to help a recently widowed woman clear vegetation from her property. Now, the recently widowed woman they're speaking of, her name is Sharon Graham. Mr. Saunders was in a relationship with Graham. I don't know if he was at the time he was out there, but he had been in a relationship with her. And she was also in a relationship with one of the two men out there working with him to clear this vegetation. And the initial report was that he had accidentally got pulled into the wood chipper while they were clearing out the vegetation. But police ended up getting a tip that said, "Hey, there's more to this than meets the eye. This poor fucker. He was put in that wood chipper by that dude." So
Damn.
Police did some more research, and sure enough, they arrested both men and the woman. So Sarah Graham got arrested, Gregory Roser got arrested, and Peter Koenig, he got arrested. But hold on, I had all this pulled up earlier, so let me see here. I want to show you what one of these fuckers look like, man. He looks like a dude that would do this.
Looks like somebody that would stick another person in a wood chipper?
Yes. Hold on, I'm gonna find it here. I think it was like the Guardian or the Sun, of course. They had all the pictures of these people involved. And there's Mr. Saunders. He's a big dude. There he is with Sharon Graham. And hold on, let me see if I can... Oh, there he is. Holy shit. Look at this fucking... Oh, man. I hate sites that don't let you maximize their pictures. But that was... and I know you can't see it, but this is Peter Koenig. And he just looks like a dude that would... that would do something like this. Anyway, so they've got all of them in jail. And I had a nice video. Here we go. Let's see if this will show you some stuff here.
Yeah, he looks a little wood chippery-ish.
Emergency services were called to a property at Gubaram near Gympie just after 8 p.m, where a man had sustained critical injuries when he fell into a wood chipper. Police say the 54-year-old was clearing trees on private property with 3 others. A forensic team returned to the site this morning to try and piece together what led to this terrible tragedy that has cost a man his life. It's believed 2 of the men were working further up the road when the incident occurred. Here is what police had to say a little earlier.
They're all friends, and they're doing a favour for a lady that owns the property, sadly.
Workplace health and safety have also been here this morning to examine the circumstances surrounding the incident, while police examine the machinery. Emergency services were called.
It's nice to think that he was already dead, or at least unconscious and bonked on the head with something. Because I couldn't imagine the fucking terror. Oh, I know it's one of your favorite, stories to cover. I don't think you've ever passed up a wood chipper story. I will answer that in a second, and nobody can hear you.
God damn it. I did it.
So apparently I'm doing this by myself.
No, you're not now. I'm a fucking idiot again.
That's 3 times.
I got so much into my rant. I forgot to unmute my damn mic. Anyway.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die.
I'm just glad somebody said something. You didn't miss much, except for all I was trying to say is that the wood chipper death is a very popular one on the site because it has its own tag. And that the reason why I post on wood chipper deaths and animal attack deaths so much. This is like deja vu. I just said this 30 seconds ago. It's because I'm horrified of actually being killed in that manner. Either being run through a wood chipper or any industrial accident, but a wood chipper especially. But animal attacks, man. I mean, the pit bull, and a lot of people think that I'm anti-pit bull because I post so many pit bull stories, but it's because that whether you like it or not, they kill a lot of people. So we post a lot of stories about it. But I post about any animal attack I can find. So,
all right, we have otter attacks. I mean,
I got a swan drowning.
We don't judge.
No, I post about them all just because I'm fascinated by a few things. It used to be serial killers when I was younger. I was fascinated with serial killers, and I mean not in a like I idolize them or anything, but just like this, it was just fucking fascinating to me that somebody could reach that. But now when we get the odd few here and there, that still pop up out of the woodwork or whatever. It's like we've posted on these stories so much. I'm not fascinated by them anymore. They're just fucking stupid, mentally ill people. So I don't really. It's not, the mystery's gone out of them. They're not like boogeymen like I used to think when I was younger. So
I haven't read about a single serial killer since I started on the site.
Yeah, they
I
just
used
got
to do
that.
all the true crime and the serial killers and stuff, and not since I started on the site.
Yeah, we've had some. We had that one lady, the one lady that actually killed one. That he
No,
had,
I don't mean we haven't reported on them. I mean,
oh.
I'm not nearly as fascinated with them since I joined the Dreamin
Oh.
Demon as I used to be. I used to read, that's all I used to read.
Yeah, I agree. I used to read true crime books and all that other stuff, but after you report on this so much, it's like the allure. I don't want to say the allure. That's probably not the right word, but if anybody who's into true crime will know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure that if you're into true crime stuff, you've got friends or family that may look at the books you read or the shit you watch, and they're like, what the fuck is,
Oh, yeah.
They think something's wrong with you, but anybody who gets it gets what I'm saying, or even what you're saying. There's some people just have a kind of a fascination with people who can do things like that. Doesn't mean that I want to do things like that. I had a long discussion about that one time with a friend of mine. Maybe it was even you. That I think that the reason why I was kind of fascinated with it was because I kind of always liked the idea that there was kind of a boogeyman out there, and then when you get older and you realize things don't exist, like Santa Claus and the mystery phantom cars and all those little urban legend stories you learned about when you were a kid that made the world just a little bit kind of cool and scary. When all that kind of fell away, that's kind of all I had left was the fucking serial killer of all people was the only boogeyman that was kind of left out there. And then since running this site, they're just stupid people that got away with it for a while.
Yeah. And when you look at some of the serial killers, especially some of the more popular ones, everyday names, Dahmer, the BTK, all that, when you look at them after they've been convicted and they're just weak ass little men.
Usually.
I mean, they're not even boogeyman types. They're just really kind of puny ass little men.
Right, and you just keep waiting on the John Doe from Seven. I keep waiting on that guy, and there just hasn't been one.
Yes, that one.
There just aren't any. They're just usually very insecure, weak, angry men, and it's just don't care. You're pathetic.
I think Aileen Wuornos was tougher by far than most of the popular male serial killers.
I would agree with that. Actually, I think that you're 100% correct. Even watching, but even with her, she was obviously suffering from mental issues. You could see it in her interviews and whatnot. So
right, she was crazy.
Yeah. So the allure of it just kind of went away, and so now I guess the only thing that I'm truly fascinated about when it comes to boogeymen is the horrible way that you could find yourself dead. This guy went out to clear vegetation for a chick he was in a relationship with. He had no clue he was going to be fed through a wood chipper. And if he was lucky, he went through head first. Because we've had some people that went in feet first, which would be horrendous to think about.
Yeah, because that's going to take a minute, before you get to that point where you're dead.
At least head first. I mean, even if your head doesn't go all the way in it immediately and chew your ass up to where you don't feel anything, it's going to break your neck when it pulls into that part of it. You would hope. You would just hope, but you're still going to...
Well, not my luck, but
But you're still going to feel your hands and your fucking arms, because that's going to be your first instinct is to stick your hands out. It's not going to be to look up and smile at it. You're going to fucking put your hands in front of you, and you're going to watch your hands go into this fucking wood chipper. And I don't know if anybody's actually seen the blades of a wood chipper, but it is gnarly.
And they're saying again that you're weak, not weak, but you're not coming across very loudly. I'm coming out clear because I'm a fucking big mouth.
I'm trying to adjust the volumes on this. Hold on one second. Let me turn the mic up. Let me see if that works.
One of these days we'll have all these bugs worked out.
Well, if I hadn't have fucked with things. All right, hey, y'all let me know. Does this sound okay? Who was telling you that?
Tote and
okay.
Alf.
Okay. I got my volume turned up as loud as I can go. But what is weird is I'm talking very loud right now into my microphone, and it's not going into the red. So hold on one second.
Says that's better. Yeah, you might need a new microphone.
No, I think me fucking around with this mixing board, I hit something that I can't see at the moment. Hold on, let me look and see real quick. Oh, what the fuck are all these buttons?
I don't know. Maybe I should be in charge of the buttons.
Maybe. I don't see the. I'm afraid to fuck with it too much.
Yeah, please don't. You sound decent now. I'm guessing you're sounding okay now. Maybe you should just.
All right, I'll leave it where it is right now.
Okay.
And we'll just see how it goes. I'll fuck with all this later. I need a better mixer anyway. Anyway, okay. So that was it for the wood chipper death. For now.
Yeah, I would be interested to find out whether or not he was dead or alive when he went in.
Yeah. Now we'll find out. Have you ever seen pictures? You remember back when they had the pictures of the guy that went through the wood chipper, and you could actually go look at the pictures of what that looked like, and they call it. There was a name for it. They call when you go through a wood chipper, what the remains or what that's called.
It was in Fargo. I don't remember the word though.
No, not them. It was a news report, and it was called total demorsification. Total demorsification, like a morsel. Demorsification is what they called it. And there's pictures out there on the internet if you want to go look. I quit looking at stuff like that a long time ago, but you can look, and there's actual pictures of an incident where a guy went through one, and it's kind of crazy in the fact that, unlike the movies where you see, because there are movies where people go through wood chippers and it just sprays blood out the other side, maybe some chunks of shit they'll throw in it, but in this picture, the crazy thing was, that did happen. There was like a lot of blood, and there was lots of chunks of stuff, but what was crazy was the skin. Your skin, actually big large patches of skin were still intact. Because, your skin's just one big organ anyway. And I guess what happens when it can go through those, the blades don't just totally chew it up and just make little bits and pieces out of it. There's a good chance that large, big swaths of it will just come flying out the other end of it.
Well, that just sounds yummy.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting, yes.
Oh, I kind of see what's happening now. Your voice is actually coming through my mic line for some reason. I have to get all this hashed out. I don't know what the fuck happened. I think I touched something I shouldn't have touched.
Probably. I have no fucking doubt.
Anyway, I may have to go back and listen to one of these for once and see what it sounds like. Because it may be sounding like total dog shit, and I wouldn't even know. Because I just don't go back and listen to these for the most part. I just like the podcast, you just kind of just do them and then I just let it go. I don't put a lot of post stuff on them. I know a lot of people do. They'll put like all kinds of weird, not weird, but they'll put little titles and tags. And they'll go back and do some post work on videos, and I'm just not at that point yet. Now, maybe if all we were doing was a YouTube channel, I would. If I wasn't actually running a website on top of that, I might put a little bit more work into it. But most of the time, I just look at these as like just hanging out and bullshitting. So
pretty much. Yeah, I have no desire to go back and listen to my own voice.
All right, let's see here. We got the guy from New Hampshire, the 19-year-old who's been charged with helping his roommate commit suicide. And this one's not like the last one we reported on where that chick was actually like talking the dude into committing suicide. This was just a case of another teenager. How old was he? I don't know. I said teenager, but I don't think I got his
19.
age. He was the guy that killed himself was 19.
Oh, I don't see that.
I don't either. Anyway, I guess he was going to go to jail for some reason, and they didn't have details on that. They may now, but they didn't have details when I wrote it. But he was going to go to jail, or he thought he was going to go to jail, and decided that, no way, I'm just going to kill myself now. And so his roommate, 19-year-old Parker Hogan, kind of helped him. They went out to the woods by their apartment and practiced with a gun how he was going to blow his brains out. Or I don't know if that's what he did, but how he was going to fatally shoot himself. And That's what he did. He shot himself, and Hogan waited till he heard the gunshot, walked back there to make sure he was dead, picked up a suicide note and a gun, I think he wiped the gun down or whatnot, and then waited till the next morning to call the dude's father and the police to say that his roommate had committed suicide. So now they've charged him. I don't know what they charged him with.
That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, there it is. He got charged with aiding. Oh, wow, I didn't even know that was a charge. Aiding a suicide involving death, along with 3 counts of falsifying physical evidence. And I think that came from him touching the gun and the suicide note and stuff that was at the scene, removing it. I'm not positive, but I think that's where some of those charges came from. But I didn't know that aiding suicide was actually a chargeable offense. But it doesn't seem that major. It just looks like if he's convicted on all of those charges, he's looking at 3.5 to 7 years behind bars. There's a very good chance. I'm hoping he won't actually serve any jail time for that, because just for in this particular situation, I don't really have an issue with what he did personally. And only reason why I say that is just because I know that might sound callous, but if I don't know, I haven't been in that situation yet. But if I had a close friend of mine that wanted to kill themselves and they were going to do it, I'm not saying I would be the one that would pull the trigger or anything like that. But if that's. But
if you knew you couldn't talk him out of it. That's a tough one.
I know I'm speaking kind of off the cuff here. I'd have to think about the situations involved, but. I'm a very big proponent for people being able to end their own lives if they choose to do so. I don't see really what the problem is if somebody wants to do that. I'm not saying I'm going to be like, hell yeah, that's going to be like my first go-to, yeah, you should do it or whatever. I'm just meaning in a situation to where you went through all the avenues and did all the things that you should probably do and try to get them help or even talk them out of it, I guess. But if somebody's hell-bent on doing it,
they're going to do it.
Well, even if, I don't know. Like I said, I'm speaking off the cuff, and I could change my mind if somebody gave me a good argument, but I just feel, I think more or less I'm putting it along the same lines of people who are suffering from terminal illnesses or they're living lives of physical pain that can't be, resolved, that I think those types of people should, be able to do what they want.
Well, for sure. And, how is it any different to watch your best friend drink themselves to fucking death than it is to assist in their suicide?
Agreed. And that's just me. And like I said, I could easily see myself changing my mind if somebody gave me a good argument for not doing that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at if I can increase my volume.
You still playing with fucking buttons.
Well, this time I'm in Discord, seeing if I can change my Discord stuff. But it's weird. No matter what I do, my meter's not really changing any on... I'll have to look at that. I haven't had that problem before. That's really odd.
Is it? Is it odd or is it a given?
But it's like your loud ass voice is blowing my eardrums out.
Fuck you.
I'm not getting it. Anyway, let me see here. Then we had of course, what we were just talking about earlier. We had another pit bull story where an 8-month-old girl was mauled to death as she sat in a bouncy chair. And there wasn't a lot of info on this one either. When I first wrote it up, it was actually very short. But this little girl, and I at least want to get her name right. Leanna Billison. Anyway, Leanna, she was being watched by her grandmother, who owned 3 dogs, one of them being a pit bull that they've owned since a puppy. It was 2, 3, 4 years old. And the little girl was sitting in a bouncy chair in a bedroom when the dog attacked her. And by the time the emergency services got to the house, it was too late, and the girl was already dead. And as somebody else said, just same old story. Wasn't really. Well, here, we'll play this video.
Get rid of musty odors and excess moisture with Damp Rid.
So, my closet, it's full of excess moisture.
the clothes start to stink, Damper
Damn,
takes
I
care
hate
of
these.
Damper moisture absorbers eliminate the excess moisture that causes
I
musty
need to get my
odors
ad
and last for
blockers
up
up
to 60
and
days.
functioning correctly.
Now at 11, a terrible story, a family tragedy in Miramar. A baby girl, not even a year old, mauled to death by the family pet.
A relative had been watching her. CBS 4's Hank Tester is live in Miramar with an update. Hank.
Well, Mom gets a call at work. She says that she's told to get home. When she gets here to this location, she sees the police are in the front yard inside her house. The grandmother who's watching her daughter with a shirt covered with blood. Now, as you can see over here, the beginnings of a memorial. Let's take a look. Tragedy on Kingston Drive in Miramar. This modest home struck with heartbreak. Quiet tonight, but all day Wednesday, this. Broward Animal Control removes a pit bull mix that they say killed an 8-month-old baby girl. Miramar police say the little girl named Liana was at her grandmother's house, Mom at work, when the dog attacked her. Mother rushed home in shock.
I'm numb right now. I can't express myself correctly. My emotions are all over the place right now.
There were 3 pit bull mixes in the home. All were removed. We've learned that the dogs were not that used to being around the little girl.
We don't usually keep the baby and the dogs together.
And the baby was not with the grandmother each and every day, as the child was often in daycare. So what happened here? Miramar police continue their investigation. What we do know.
At the time of the incident, the child was in a bedroom in a bouncy chair, and grandmother was with the child.
The medical examiner removed the child's body. Miramar police wrapping up their inquiry into just what went down here, and a mom left to deal with a huge loss.
She was the best thing to ever happen to me. She smiled every morning. She was my world.
Well, neighbors tell us they knew there were dogs in the house. They heard them bark from the backyard. They never seemed to escape. Never a problem till now. That's the very latest from Miramar. I'm Hank Tester, CBS 4 News Tonight.
So yeah, another pit bull story. Man, that was one beefy looking dog too. I know you didn't. I don't know if you could. Oh, you saw it?
I saw a part of it.
Yeah, that was a big dog.
Have you seen the meme going around where it's a pit bull on who's that blonde-haired like chef dude that everybody's always going on about?
That Guy Fieri?
Yeah, no, the mean one.
Oh, Ramsey.
Yeah, there's a pit bull face over superimposed on his face, and there's a baby on a platter. It was actually kind of funny the first time I saw it.
No, I haven't seen it.
I'll have to see if I can find it again and send it to you.
Damn. Sorry, I was fucking with the volume again. I probably need to quit doing that.
Would you maybe?
I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, then maybe we should just like do a fake ass podcast and work some of this shit out sometime.
Yeah, maybe we should do that because it's
before
like
the next one.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, okay, sorry about that. My OCD's getting to me watching this meter not go where it's supposed to be going. So I keep sitting there fucking with knobs and shit, and I shouldn't be touching any of this because that's what got me in the problem to begin with. We got another dead kid. This one was out of South Carolina. This is the woman that called. She called 911 to say that some man pulled up to her mailbox as she was carrying her kid. She was getting the mail or something, and an SUV pulled up, and a white man wearing a hat and a black glove. He was like the reverse Michael Jackson. He popped out and punched her in the face a few times and took her daughter, 1-year-old Harley Lewis. And police come out, of course, and it didn't take them that much time. They put an Amber Alert out because they thought the kid had actually been abducted. And they ended up finding the baby not that far away from the house, hidden inside of a diaper box. So the
bushy-haired man has evolved into wearing, he's accessorizing.
Well, now they quit saying black man. I guess they realized that you're immediately a suspect when you start blaming, black people. Remember all the women that would do that every time that their kid would go missing? It was always
There was that, but way back in the day, it was a bushy-haired man.
I don't
He had
remember that.
bushy hair. Yeah.
Well, this guy was wearing a hat, so that was different, and one black glove. I thought that was a nice little weird touch she threw in there. Anyway, they brought the whole family in for questioning, but they are saying that the mother, Brianna Lewis, is their main suspect. Now, I haven't checked to see if there was an update on this. Let's all check together. Let's see if they've actually charged her.
I'm really kind of surprised they didn't buy her story.
Yeah. Okay, here's somebody saying that she's evil. So let's find out who this person is.
I want justice to be served. Because that baby did not deserve to die that way. There are so many people that don't get to have kids that could have had her. I could have had her. And it hurts. She's evil. How can you put baby in the trash bag and then in a diaper box and not have no remorse, not feel bad, not speak up and say something? Just how could you do it? She already caused problems for so many people around here, and to see this baby and to not really know who her father is hurts.
I did it fucking again. So anyway, yeah. The only reason why I'm muting my mic is because I take that time to hit my vape because I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
I think they'd rather hear your voice not being muted, so maybe
you
knock it off.
Look, we're gonna get all this kinked out. We're gonna get all the kinks worked out. Kick it out. Yeah, I think we just do a fake broadcast and get all this shit working.
Yeah, let's do that.
We do. I'm going in. I don't know what your weekend's looking like. Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about when we stop streaming. Let's see here.
Ow!
See, now that spikes right into the red. But none of my shit does.
I can't help it.
All right, we have the parents of a 5-year-old girl who are suing a school district because, and this one's actually pretty bad. This is out of Ohio, where a 5-year-old girl, kindergartner, was being molested over a course of a couple weeks by an 11-year-old boy. Happened back in 2016 inside a Jackson local school district bus. This is a learning, what do you call that? We used to call them LD. Anyway, that kids that have like learning difficulties, one of those types of buses. And this
short bus,
basically, I think. But this 11-year-old boy had already gotten into some trouble lighting a match or something on the bus, and he was supposed to sit directly beside the bus driver. But he wasn't doing that. He was sitting behind the bus driver beside man, if you do that again.
I can't help it.
You're triggering me. I'm stifling now. So over the course of a couple weeks, this 11-year-old was molesting the 5-year-old girl. And yeah, it was over a couple of weeks. And the prosecutor said it was one of the most horrifying cases they had ever handled. So I don't know what he was doing, but it must have been pretty damn bad. So the kid, the 11-year-old, and the parents, the 11-year-old actually got charged with something. I was trying to find out what it was called. It wasn't like what you would think it was. It was something. I can't find I can't find what they call or what they charged him. Oh, there it is. Gross sexual imposition is what he was initially charged with. But the boy and his parents have since moved out of the school district. So the parents and their lawyer are now suing the school district over what happened to the daughter. So, and we've had a bunch of those too. a bunch of kids getting sexually assaulted on school buses.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how it finally, how it all finally came together that they knew this was happening. If the 5-year-old girl said something, if somebody on the bus noticed.
Well, I think she was 3 at the time, but she told her parents what was going on. I don't know what she said. I don't know if she had the, vocabulary to specifically say what was happening, but obviously enough to where they went to the school, and when they reviewed, I think the surveillance footage, they saw that what the boy had been doing.
Well, why is she on a bus going to kindergarten at age 3?
It happens.
At 3?
I guess she was on the bus.
I've just never heard of anybody that young having to, maybe Head Start or something would explain the bus, but okay.
Maybe, I don't know. And which brings me to 2 more stories. One is the elderly woman that died falling into a fire pit. There really wasn't anything else to this. 71-year-old, for one reason or another, she tripped or she fell into a fire pit in her backyard, and her son-in-law, maybe it was, found her. That was pretty much it for that story. But that's actually one of our top stories, was that one little story. There was nothing else really to it. And we've had a bunch of fire pit related deaths too. And I think the worst I put in that article was that one. I don't even remember if that poor guy who built that 3-foot long, 3-foot deep trench because they were going to do a pig. They were going to barbecue or smoke or cook a pig for a New Year's Eve party. I know you got to remember this. And him and I think it may have been his brother or a friend were drinking, and he fell into the pit, and he got wedged into it on top of it, face down.
I vaguely remember that one.
He fell face down, got wedged inside of it, and then the other guy, panicking, couldn't pull him out, grabbed the water hose and started pouring it, spraying the fucking fire, the embers of the coals, which would just steam the fire. The guy's fucked regardless. You're not going to put out something like that.
Stick an apple in that shit.
Yeah, but I guess that's about your only option, So anyway, it said it took like three people to get this guy out of this fucking thing. Of course, he was dead, but still, anyway, I always thought that was horrific. That to happen to somebody is to get wedged directly over a pig fucking barbecue pit. And remember we had the baby where the guy dropped the baby. He was drunk and he fell asleep with his baby by the fire pit and he dropped the baby in it.
One of my very first stories on the front page had something to do with a little kid in a fire pit or a barbecue of some sort.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
So we've had numerous ones of those too.
The funny thing is that I knew there was another story that I posted, but it didn't even make the fucking the top 10. And this was the guy in Nevada. He was the bus driver that got life in prison for molesting special needs children on a school bus. So I think I was wrong about the other bus. This is the special needs bus.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a 58-year-old guy who drove a special education bus, and he had like 20 kids on the bus that he would take back and forth. And this was the case where the 3-year-old actually went and told the parents. I got 2 stories mixed up there, but this is the case where the 3-year-old said something to her parents, or maybe it was her, it could have been a he, but I think it was her parents, and they went back and looked at surveillance footage and seen that this fucking guy had been molesting these kids before he dropped them off to school, and they were young. Let me pull this up here real quick. Yeah, I think they were like 3 and 4 years old he was molesting. I got a video on that one too here real quick. Hold on, just in case you didn't see this one.
Pagan's in here.
Oh, let me bring him on. Oh, he should already be on if he's not muted.
I'm here.
What's up?
Hi, Pagan.
Hold on, you're just in time to watch.
Jaded? Morbid?
You're in time to watch a great video real quick. Let me play this real fast.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. I get to see an ad for Cadence. God almighty, man. Remember when it didn't used to be like this?
Your Honor, this is by far the most horrific case that I've ever prosecuted. The defendant's actions in this case were so depraved and so horrible. His victims were 3- and 4-year-old special needs children. He was their bus driver, and he sexually assaulted them. He knew exactly what he was doing. All of these incidents were caught on video.
55-year-old Michael Banco, a Clark County School District special education bus driver who sexually assaulted and molested small children even while other students were on the bus, was sentenced to life in prison on 2 counts with the possibility of parole after 35 years.
Your Honor, could we move the motion to return property and restitution hearing?
So anyway, so yeah, that story didn't even make the top 10. I thought for sure that one would go up over some of the other ones, at least.
Well, especially over a puppy fucker.
Yeah, you were
a puppy fucker.
Yeah, we talked
Puppy
about
fucker.
it. We talked about it last week. He's still
Oh yeah,
he's still number 1.
still number 1.
And I don't remember, the number 2 one is, I don't remember if we talked about this last week or if this is a new one. I think it is a new one. This was the one out of California where the 19-year-old chick got into an argument with her boyfriend as they were leaving some type of family gathering. And when they got back to their house, the man got out of the car and was carrying their 7-month-old daughter. And from at least what police say, she intentionally drove the car into him. And he got sent to the hospital with relatively minor injuries, but the 7-month-old was killed. And I didn't see if there were any updates on this one. So I haven't watched this video. I'm just going to play it real quick so they can kind of show, because the way they were describing it, they were saying it happened at the end of the driveway where the street is. So I'm curious, when he got out, did she back into him? They were both drunk, of course, but I don't know if she backed into him or what. But police say it was definitely on purpose. So hold on. Let's see if this one can play. Yep, with a nice big
After a serious accident, you need the best legal team by your side.
I was injured in a vehicle accident, and the Dominguez firm got me $3 million.
The Dominguez Firm, freeconsultation.com.
It happened right in front of the family home. Let me move out of the way. In fact, it happened in the driveway here, and you can still see a tire mark where the car was and where the accident happened. We do want to show you, though, a mug shot given to us by the Ontario Police Department of the mother. This is Sarah Gomez, 19 years old, now charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, being held at the West Valley Detention Center. Again, arrested for the death of her 7-month-old daughter. Authorities saying this happened around midnight. Ontario PD saying the mom, 19 years old, dad, 21 years old, returning home here to the 500 block of West D Street. There was some sort of argument. The father was standing outside the car holding the 7-month-old girl. She was behind the wheel, the mom was, when she struck both her boyfriend and the baby with the car. No word how fast the mom was traveling, but we know what happened again in the family's driveway. The family was driven to the hospital by another family member in a different car. That is where the baby was pronounced dead. The mother was also at the hospital, and that is where she was also arrested. But the big question for authorities is, did Sarah Gomez intentionally hit her boyfriend with the car while he was holding the baby, or was it just a tragic accident?
She looks like a little
At this point,
bitch.
we're still conducting the investigation, but she has been arrested for assault with a deadly weapon, so it appears that it's going to be an intentional act.
They towed the car. What did they look for on that vehicle to see if this was intentional, accidental, and where exactly the young family was hit at the time?
We'll look for any abrasions, possible evidence, maybe blood or other physical evidence. They'll also look at the tires, and they'll inspect the driveway and see if there's any kind of skid marks.
The car has since been towed away from the family home here for forensic testing. The father, whose name has not been released, suffered minor injuries. He was taken to the hospital and treated for abrasions. The mom, again, Sarah Gomez, charged with 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, but she could face other charges from involuntary manslaughter to murder, depending or not whether or not officials.
So yeah, I think she did end up, after this article, she did end up getting charged with vehicular something after this. I guess they determined.
I haven't seen any updates to that one.
Yeah, I wanted to see that driveway. That's the first time I actually watched the video to kind of see where they were hit at, and I still don't quite understand what happened. I guess I would understand more if I could tell if she was hit at the back of the car or the front of the car. Who the fuck knows? They were drunk. But anyway, yep. So that would have been our number one story, aside from Puppy Fucker, still at the top from 2 weeks running now.
And that puppy looks so sad.
Oh, he did, didn't he? This chick in this story, though, did you see that stank eye she had, where that one eye is bigger than the other one?
Yeah, she cut you in your fucking sleep. Or when you're awake. She just looks like a little bitch.
Oh yeah, she looks mean, man. Look at that eyes. Look at those eyes, man. It's like two different people. Everything's symmetrical until you get to the eyes, and then this one's just bigger than the other one. I've known a couple people like that, with that weird.
Were they crazy?
Thing. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you spot them.
I noticed people with the weird eye, and see, the eyebrows don't look like one's raised up higher than the other one, so that's just the way it is. And I've always noticed they're a little bit crazy, and then the chicks with the fucking bug eyes, the bug eye chicks, they're always really, really crazy. Even in some of the news articles we posted, the ones with the bug eyes were always pretty prominent there for a little bit.
Pretty much.
It's like maybe their brain is like pushing up against their eye sockets or something, and it like causes them to do dumb shit, and their eyes to pop out a little bit.
Maybe too much meth.
No, they usually pull their eyes out from that one. Have you seen the update on that chick? You remember the girl we posted about that pulled her eyeballs out while she was on meth? They just did an update on her, and she's like off drugs and stuff now. She's learning how to play guitar.
Well, good for her.
Right. She said that when she dreams in color, so she still gets that enjoyment. So she can still see when she's sleeping.
Well, what a happy ending there.
Right? But yeah. She went holy hell on her face. So
she probably just should have taken up guitar before she took up meth.
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of them things I just would never touch, man. And I'm all for altered consciousness type stuff, but man, there's no way in hell. Meth, bath salts, all that designer bullshit, ain't no way in hell I'd touch that stuff. Even that salvia crap, I wouldn't touch that. I know some people have good times with it, but man, I've seen some videos of people who did not have good times on it. Go on YouTube and watch salvia videos and watch what happens with people. It's hilarious. It's scary.
I think I went down that fucking rabbit hole once already, and I don't care to revisit it.
It's crazy though, right?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's like somebody having an anxiety attack times 1,000.
It made me anxious just watching this shit. No thanks.
Yeah, I don't want none of that.
Yeah, watch the videos though. Dude, if you ever get a chance, just get online and just put in salvia and watch some of these people, what happens to them, because it doesn't happen to everybody, but watch what happens to some of these people in these videos. It's pretty crazy. I couldn't imagine when we were like teens ever fucking saying, hey, this looks like something. I mean, I know we did do some stuff, but I would have never seen ever doing anything that could have done that. Like, even if that was a remote possibility, I wouldn't have done it. Hell, alcohol was already pushing it with some of the shit we did on that, but this is instantaneous. I mean, within like 30 seconds, they're fucking cuckoo.
Yeah, cuckoo.
So how was the no AC?
We made it through it, you know. It was lukewarm in there.
Ew.
Oh, yeah, just imagine being in a place, you know, it's kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, but not. It's called Incredible Pizza, and they have video games, they have indoor track, go-kart track, and all this other crap. But yeah, it was a lot of people, And first thing I said to him when we got in there, I said, my question is there a guy on the roof right now working on this AC? And the lady looked at me and goes, oh, no. I said, did it happen today? And she said, no, it happened a week ago. I'm like, and you guys didn't tell me when I booked it 4 days ago? Anyways.
Yeah, I would have backed out of that shit.
Yeah, I would have backed out of it. But here we are. We show up with, like, 8 other parents and 10 other kids or whatever. And we show up at this place for the party. And that's when we found out when we got there. So it was like, we just dealt with it.
Carrie said it probably smelled like feet.
It smelled like everything. Feet, ass, sweat.
All those little kid places smell like feet. I couldn't stand it when my kids were young. You couldn't get me in one of those fucking places now.
Yeah, I hate
I hated Chuck E. Cheese.
We never booked anything there, but some of our friends would, and I hated having to show up at them. I just hated it. And it was normally, back in those days, it was always Chuck E. fucking Cheese, and I hated it.
Yeah, it was funny about, I don't know, 6 years ago, we had my son's birthday there, and here comes Chucky, and he's walking by us, and my brother-in-law goes, hey, Chucky, what's up, man? Threw his hand up. Chucky just keeps walking.
I would have too.
Oh, damn. Burned by Chucky?
And he's like, my brother-in-law, he does concrete for a living. He's kind of got, muscles and all that stuff. And he's like, I'll punch you in your head. Punch you in your fucking head, Chucky. I'm like, dude, just don't kick Chucky's ass here in front of all these kids.
Yeah, and there's probably some poor 17-year-old kid hating life wearing that thing walking around.
He totally would have ended up on the Dream. Because I looked for stories, those kind of stories. We have quite a few on the site where people just go ape shit at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Well, that's the only good thing Chuck E. Cheese is for us nowadays. Is if you, in fact, it's so bad now, I couldn't even keep up with it. If I had to post a story every time some fight happened at Chuck E. Cheese, that would be all our site would be dedicated to, because it happens all the damn time now.
Ought to have the Chuck E. Cheese filler of the week,
We should do that. We should do like a weekly fight, weekly Chuck E.
Yeah. Chucky.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
How fucking drunk are you?
A little more than I thought, man. It's this peach pecan flavored whiskey, man. It just sneaks up on me every fucking time.
You can't make words.
Oh, you're back on that, huh?
Well, I was on it, and I thought we were going on at 10, so I had started drinking a little bit before then, and then when everything kind of got foobarred, I moved it up to 10:30, so then that gave me 30 more minutes, so that was like an hour's worth of drinking, so I don't know, I guess it just snuck up on me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll sleep like a baby.
Yeah, too bad you missed the beginning of the podcast, Pagan. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
You didn't miss anything.
The whole time I was sweltering in there.
You didn't miss anything because we weren't fucking streaming.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was pulling fuckhead moves all the entire stream. So
so it was technical difficulties.
As always, but we're going to get rid of...
I thought you were holding off 30 minutes just for me.
Well, it was you
it was special.
And her. She couldn't do it either.
Oh, you were lagging a little bit.
I just got off work.
She had plumbing emergencies. She had more plumbing emergencies. Whatever that means.
No, what I was telling you is I had a move-in from a dude from North Carolina, and you fucking people from North Carolina never shut the fuck up. I mean, I'm trying to be polite and do my job the best I can, and this man would not stop talking. It's like, dude, it's Friday. I got shit to do. Shut up. And he wouldn't.
I don't know why the water ain't coming out. It just ain't coming out. I mean, it was coming out an hour ago.
You ever ate a deep fried candy bar? Because I'm telling you, I tried one at the state fair, and I'll be, gosh golly, those things aren't delicious. Excuse me. Miss, would you like a big old glass of sweet tea? Would you like some sweet tea, miss? That looks like some hard, dirty, nasty work. And you showing your butt crack like that is making me a little bit thirsty.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's what I was dealing with today. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. I had just shut that shit out of my head, and you guys put it all right back in.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
It's that Southern hospitality.
Yeah, old Southern gentleman there just talking to you.
Yeah.
Forever.
Well, keep me company.
I didn't need company. I needed to go home.
Was he an old guy? Because they're the worst.
Probably, I think he's 76.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're the worst. I mean, they're nice, but they can talk.
Oh yeah, he was very, very polite. But what should have taken 30 minutes actually took an hour and 45.
And you see, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about these pipes around here. This water, something's wrong with this water. I don't know what it is. It's just dripping now, just dripping. That's all it's doing is just dripping, dripping, dripping.
Sometimes when I'm laying in bed at night, I can hear it, and it keeps me up.
Oh,
yeah, it makes a noise like this. He goes, drip, drip, drip. You ever heard one drip like that?
Yeah. You ever had one that goes slow like that, and then sometimes it goes like drip, drip, drip.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you guys nothing no more.
Speeds up a little bit. It goes drip, 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 drip. Beats the hell out of me.
I don't know nothing about that plumbing stuff. That's why I called you over here.
Yeah, you guys suck.
All right. Anyway, hey, listen. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this for now. But if you guys could stay on real quick, because I'm gonna talk to you, and I gotta play something for you, Jaded too. Everybody, look again. We're working through it. So, as always, thanks for sticking with the site for the last 14 friggin' years. We appreciate it, all the ups and downs, and we'll get all this stuff worked out eventually and get some type of format going here. Like I said, this is only our 3rd episode on here, so we're learning. We'll get there. So, everybody have a good night, have a good weekend, and I don't know when we'll be back. I don't know about next weekend, but we'll work that out later. We'll get something scheduled, and we'll go from there. So, if you like the video, if you like what we're doing, by all means, subscribe to the channel, hit the like and all that other crap, and I guess we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.